Good morning. It's Tuesday, August 12th. Here's what's moving markets and making headlines in global business today. Europe's defense sector is undergoing a transformation not seen in decades. A Financial Times analysis of satellite data across 37 European defense corporations reveals consistent and rapid expansion at arms manufacturing facilities. Since the start of the war in Ukraine in 2022, construction activity has surged, particularly in sites linked to ammunition and missile production, historically two of the West's weakest links. This shift marks a dramatic pivot from peacetime just-in-time logistics to an industrial-scale war-ready capacity. Germany's Rheinmetall even projected declining unit costs due to automation and economies of scale, reinforcing the seriousness of Europe's rearmament effort in light of a potential decrease in U.S. military support under a second Trump term. Speaking of Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump has extended a tariff truce with Beijing for another 90 days, sidestepping a fresh escalation in trade tensions. The decision came just hours ahead of a scheduled hike that could have seen levies on Chinese goods soar as high as 145%. Markets appeared relieved, particularly across Asia, with stocks rising modestly in Tokyo and Hong Kong. Meanwhile, HSBC's commercial real estate portfolio in Hong Kong continues flashing red. Nearly 75% of its property loans were flagged under risk parameters as of June's end. A sluggish retail environment and falling office space demand among smaller developers have put pressure on the balance sheets of not only companies but also the banks that finance them. While larger firms remain relatively stable, the strain is visible and persistent in the broader sector. In tech, President Trump suggested he may allow Nvidia to sell a revised AI chip in China. This comes after a reported agreement permitting Washington to take a 15% royalty on Chinese sales of its H20 chip, a significant concession amid U.S. concerns over national security. Separately, Trump also hinted at helping Intel with federal support following calls for the company's CEO to resign. One more from the corporate world. Volkswagen's truck unit, Scania, plans to export half of the trucks it produces at its new €2 billion China facility. Despite rising geopolitical friction, the Swedish manufacturer is doubling down on the world's largest commercial vehicle market, a strategic bet indicative of continued multinational interest in China's industrial economy. Across the Atlantic, a decade of prosecutions linked to Libor rate rigging is unraveling. Convictions have been overturned in the UK and US due to procedural and legislative changes. The development has sparked concerns over the future efficacy of high-profile finance-related prosecutions. Elsewhere, the Mexican peso is quietly emerging as a standout currency, now the best performer among major global currencies this past quarter. Investors are flocking to high-yield Mexican bonds as trade tensions soften and broader risk sentiment improves. And finally, ahead of a planned Alaska summit, European leaders are scheduled to hold back-channel discussions with President Trump as a precursor to his next face-to-face with Russian President Putin. With European security hanging in the balance, the outcome of this gathering could chart the next phase of East-West relations. That's your snapshot from the world of business and finance this morning. This roundup was brought to you with reporting sourced from the Financial Times, Bloomberg, Reuters, The Guardian, CNBC, and Handelsblatt.